Angel Reese was older, I would have gotten on her about what she just said. Because I would have been like, how naive can you be?
The WNBA has gone completely off the rails, especially with the latest spectacle featuring none other than Angel Reese, who recently claimed she would take down Caitlin Clark, a true generational talent, as if someone who has been complaining about sideline drama, exaggerating injuries, and going on emotional rants about less than ideal pay could realistically surpass Clark. And at this point, Angel's stance is being seen as outright delusional.
Is a wonderful player, but she does not compare to what and who Caitlin Clark is when she's on the basketball floor. Plain and simple.
It's absurd that she thinks she has what it takes to surpass Caitlin Clark, a player who continues to rewrite the record books every single season. And the only thing Angel Reese has truly perfected up to this point is turning herself into a punchline. But maybe she's collecting recognition for being disappointing. And if that's the case, before Reese starts talking about taking over the NBA, she might want to take a hard look at her public image first, because switching coaches won't suddenly make her the main attraction, and what really needs to change is her mindset.
Angel Reese, there's nothing that she does where you go, did you see?
Angel Reese apparently believes that working with David Alexander, the trainer known for working with LeBron James, will somehow instantly elevate her into the next superstar in women's basketball, which sounds great in theory, but the idea that training with an elite coach alone will suddenly transform Reese into an unstoppable force capable of taking down Caitlin Clark is a stretch, because while Reese is out there focusing on general movement and whatever else she's working on, Clark is locked in on sharpening the skills that truly separate elite players, like shooting precision and playmaking ability. The things that actually decide who dominates on the court. So while Reese continues her process, Clark is actively improving the very tools that have already put her far ahead. And although Reese had a solid run at LSU, believing she's on the same level as Clark right now is like thinking you can drop a hit album after singing in the shower for a few minutes, which comes off as more unrealistic than competitive, because Reese may have ruled at LSU, but Clark is operating on a completely different level, already redefining the game itself. So talking about surpassing her before even establishing yourself in the pros just doesn't hold weight.
I mean, that's the most we've ever lost in our life. I only lost 7 games in my last 2 years at LSU. So, like, it's been hard for me. But adjusting and just kind of have that mindset of, like, just moving on has been something I try to get myself.
Let's take it back to the 2023 NCAA championship game. You remember it, right? When Angel Reese was clearly trying to take the spotlight from Caitlin Clark with that immature, you can't see me gesture thrown right in her face. And sure, it became a viral moment, but for all the wrong reasons. Because even with all that, Clark was still the most dominant player on the court, outscoring everyone with ease, including Reese, and what Reese tried to turn into her defining highlight ended up feeling like a forced attempt to stay relevant, grabbing attention for a few seconds while Clark stayed locked in and continued making history.
No one like Caitlin Clark. In the history of the WN.
Speaking of numbers, let's just say Angel Reese didn't exactly make a jaw-dropping entrance in her WNBA debut. While Caitlin Clark came in and immediately set the league on fire, averaging 19.2 points per game and dishing out assists like a seasoned veteran, whereas Reese is putting up around 13.6 points per game, nearly 6 fewer than Clark. And on top of that, Clark is leading all rookies in assists with 8.4 per game, showing a level of playmaking that stands out right away. But anyway, let's shift the focus now to the Rookie of the Year race.
I'll ask you about Rookie of the Year. Yeah. What is your stance on that?
So my whole thing was like, when I got drafted, number 7. So I'm like, cool. Like, the pressure is not even on me because I'm drafted 7, so the pressure shouldn't be up there. So I'm like, all right, cool. I could just hoop. So I don't know when like it started to just break out where I was just in Rookie of the Year conversations. I'm like, all right, cool.
It's because you.
But here's the thing. Maybe it gets better. Because while Caitlin Clark is out there transforming the game every time she steps on the court, Angel Reese's off-court life has started to look more like a spectacle, landing a signature deal with Reebok, which is impressive on paper for someone who hasn't consistently proven dominance at the highest level yet. And while Reese is busy showcasing her lifestyle on Instagram, which is fine, thinking that translates into outperforming Clark is a stretch, because at some point the focus has to shift back to basketball instead of engagement metrics. And then there's the money conversation, which Reese openly talks about, highlighting her $73,439 WNBA salary and how expensive life can be, But at the same time, it raises questions about priorities, especially when Clark is handling her brand, staying locked in on her performance, and not making everyday expenses the headline. And now looking ahead, Reese is eyeing a major opportunity in the upcoming 3x3 League set to launch in January 2025, featuring dozens of elite players from around the world, where she's expected to earn around $250,000 for a short season, a significant jump from her reported yearly WNBA income. But that opportunity also comes with a reality check, because she'll be stepping into a highly competitive environment filled with proven talent, and right now her level of play doesn't necessarily signal that she's ready to dominate that stage. Instead, suggesting there's still a gap to close, and with so many established players in the mix, simply showing up won't be enough, because that spotlight will naturally shift toward those who can consistently deliver. So if Reese is expecting a breakthrough just from participation, it could turn into a tough learning experience, as critics already see this as overconfidence, and while the league itself promises excitement and elite competition, it could just as easily highlight how much ground she still needs to cover, especially when compared to players like Clark who are already operating at that top-tier level.
It's really just the fans, her fans, the Iowa fans, now the Indiana fans that are like, they rock for her. And I respect that respectfully, but sometimes it's very disrespectful. I think there's a lot of race.
Here's the reality check. When it comes to professional basketball, Angel Reese can talk all she wants about surpassing Caitlin Clark. But at the end of the day, those are just words, because talk is cheap, and it doesn't take you anywhere without results. And if you're going to challenge the best, you need the skill set to prove it right now. Yet Reese's talk seems louder than her performance, making bold claims without consistently showing the ability to back them up. And while she may still be in the "I'll get there someday" phase, Clark has already established herself as the real deal. And it's important to remember that even while Reese is working with top-level trainers, Clark continues to put in the kind of work that actually translates on the court. Because you can't buy greatness, and you can't simply train with elite coaches and expect to instantly surpass a proven star, as it takes years of dedication, consistency, and natural talent. And while Reese focuses on developing her overall game, it's easy to make big claims when you're not being tested at the highest level. But once you face true elite competition, that's when reality sets in. And right now, Reese is still far from Clark's level, so unless she elevates her performance and matches her words with results, she risks becoming just a small footnote in Clark's story, rather than the player who challenges her dominance.